What is up, guys? This is Alex. We got
Derek in the house here.
and welcome to the New Race podcast. We are back on it again, and yeah, it's going really, really crazy, man. Like, let's talk about a little bit of what's happening, man. Like, I know you called me the other day. We were like, Alex, we got to do this podcast ASAP. It's an emergency, and I'm like, bet, let's make it happen. So what's going on? What do you
I
think? What's
mean,
happening out here?
I mean, if you're if you haven't tapped in yet, you may have been lost in a bunch of other drama. But right now, our country, United States, is facing government shutdown. At the same time, a large object outside of that came from outside of our solar system is heading right towards our planet. It's I guess it's already past Mars.
I just seen that too.
And to me, I would be wanting to know everything and anything about this.
Mm-hmm.
NASA cut the live feed. They cut the live stream, and I'm like,
Oh, so they're not letting anyone monitor it anymore.
correct, correct.
Something is a little odd here, guys.
It, it,
But we've been talking about it for a while since before we even passed Mars because we've been keeping an eye on it. And it's going really kind of fast, guys. And I'm hearing that it's days away, literally. What do you think? I have my observations, but I want to hear what you think.
so I had a lot of time to process this, and um, it could be it could literally be an anomaly, just like a mole. What that was kind of interesting in itself because it approached the Earth and went boom, right around, and then like circumference the planet, and like the way how it did it was just it was like, wow, this maneuver that this object made
Mm-hmm.
just makes it seem like it's artificial,
Yeah.
not real.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of questions to be asked. That's why on this channel we always stress that you have an open mind,
Right.
and
We knew a day like this
process.
would come.
Yeah, it takes time to process a lot of this stuff. Don't just jump to conclusions right off the bat. And um, people that are in the news or whatever, a lot of those people are just given a script, and that's what they talk about. So if you're one that just mainly gets their information from mainstream media, well, then you need to. I would advise you to check yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
And don't believe everything you hear from the media,
no,
especially around this time.
one
Right now
hundred
is
percent,
crucial
one
because
hundred percent.
many people are not really aware of what it is yet,
Right.
and the media can just portray, and we're telling you this now so that way we are already aware. This is what the new race is all about. This is
100%.
literally our time right now, Eric. This
Yeah.
is literally our time, and yeah, it's gonna change the world, really.
100%. I totally agree with what you're saying. Uh, this time right now is extremely crucial. I would advise everyone just to be you know, and you're starting to see it a little bit more, but I'm also starting to see people who easily get drawn into other people's problems, and a lot of those other people's problems are in a political standpoint, and it's like that person doesn't like his life. Well, that person is in a political position, so then it uses that to push things to kind of put hatred on the world or put division on the world, and just be more open minded, be cautious, don't buy into that. Hatred has no place in this world, and
Mhm.
that's not in the Bible. That's not in any other ancient. There is no doctrine that says that we must hate each other. Not You can literally search to the end of the earth, end of time. You will not find in a legitimate ancient text that tells you thou shalt hate one another. Doesn't say that. It doesn't get you anywhere. It causes more problems. It creates more problems in the world and leads to destruction, not
Mhm.
only of yourself, your soul, and environment around you.
And as crazy as it sounds, guys, the motto for New Race is New World, New Era, and New Race. But the big part of that motto is, and it might sound crazy, but going against your own enemies is not even the answer. So with the world right now and countries right now and just people in general, if you're going one after another against each other, that is not the answer. Right now it's not even about, you know, money. Well, it's a little bit of money, but it's not even about people. It's good versus evil, but take that mindset off right now because even the good and the evil should even go against each other. As crazy as it sounds, but that is what the new race wants to pinpoint. We have to come to the middle. We have to come to an agreement and overlook everything at a broad aspect and just reevaluate ourselves and tell ourselves what can we do to help the world, because at some point we're gonna need to come together. And that's just what's gonna have to happen. That's why I always preach about love being the highest frequency. We have to obtain that frequency now. Now is the right time because we just don't know what's going to happen in the next year or in a few years, or hopefully nothing astronomical happens and very soon. But love is the answer, frequency is the answer. Raise your vibrations, get together, and let's elevate the world and elevate ourselves. That's the best thing we can do right now.
100%, and I agree. And we can start by the way we perceive, our environment, um, how you treat animals, how you treat each other, how you treat people, where you work. If you're self-employed or if you're self-employed, then how do you treat people when you go out? How do you? Not everyone's gonna like you, but that's not your problem.
Mm-hmm.
This is something that a lot of people need to learn, and I've observed this over time and time again. If someone hates you, that's not your problem, and it's not our responsibility to hate them back. It's like, no, we be ourselves anyways.
Mm-hmm.
We continue to stand in our own character, stand in our own values. And one thing's for sure is there's a huge push right now for people to basically sell themselves away, and it's very lucrative. It's very lucrative, but it's a trick. People think in this life they forget totally about death, and it's important to understand this, that it's about our self development, our spiritual development, more than anything.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and that goes with what do we want to do? What are our intentions? When we wake up in the morning and when we go out in the day, what are our intentions for the day? What do we set in place? Do we say, you know what, I know for a fact that these problems in the world are being solved. I know for a fact that the oceans are being cleaned up. I know for a fact that endangered species are being protected. I know for a fact that there's a movement where people are starting to come together and stand up for the right. Taking advantage of people, no matter which aisle you're on, whether you're um, involved in politics, if you're left or if you're right, it does not matter.
It doesn't.
And it always comes back to you. So that's another thing is don't fall for the traps. You don't have to sell someone short just to be successful.
Mm-hmm.
And that's also a lie that's propagated out there, that you have to cheat people in order to be successful. No, don't
Mm-hmm.
do it.
No.
Don't do it.
And I totally agree with you on that. And yeah, it's especially, that's not the way of life. You have to also remember and take in the knowledge that, whatever you give out in the world is what you receive. Whatever you put out in the world is what you'll receive. So if you're going to put so much positivity into the world, what do you think you're going to expect? The world is amazing and it's always watching. So never do anything thinking that you're doing something evil and you think you can get away with it, because you're not. The universe, God, the higher power is always watching. And it's, I always tell people too, like, we're all one. We literally are all one. And maybe it sounds creepy or not, but we are being monitored. Even if you don't think that you are, this world, the simulation, whatever you think it is, it's really, really high tech. And it really is very high tech. And the energy with that we are in is almost a technology, but it's more spiritual, and spiritual is more advanced than technology, and that's what we're trying to teach the new race community, is that that's why it's so important to raise your frequencies, because with our frequencies and our spiritual gifts and knowledge, we can do a lot more than what AI can. And that's why I was preaching it in 2 podcasts ago. We have to be careful when the spiritual sides get in touch with AI, because once they intertwine and mix together, it can be very powerful and different, a new form of technology. But we also have to be careful, because some people can use it for good and some people can use it for evil.
And we're at a point, and you kind of see it on some of the big platforms. Some people are talking about it, but it's also good to kind of step aside. It's good to be open minded and entertain certain ideas.
Mm-hmm.
Like the idea of there's going to be a savior.
Mm-hmm.
Someone's going to come in and just fix everything, and
Mm-hmm.
like or like the Antichrist figure.
Mm-hmm.
It's very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And when you learn about all these different ideologies, all these political leaders, it's very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, um, what
All right, guys. Sorry for that little cut off. The mic turned off, which is really crazy. Speaking of energy, where were we?
Well, I'm just going to drop in real quick, like a Tomahawk missile, and uh, inform everybody that you're awesome and we're awesome. Everyone's awesome, and never doubt yourself. With that being said, we're going to give it away to Alex.
Yeah. So about this Atlas 3, right? Atlas 3.
Yeah.
It's very amusing to me, because right now everything in the world is, it's really crazy. There's a lot of news coverage about the peace treaty, and and stuff like that, and which is great. I think it's great for peace. I'm never against that, but what I do hope is, at the end of the day, everyone is genuine, and and everyone does the right thing. And then with everything happening, this Atlas 3, what's really intriguing me the most, because I've said it before in the other podcasts. There is more that meets the eye. It's time for people to know and understand that we as humans are not the only ones here, and we cannot be. And this is my opinion. You can side. You could argue the fact that maybe I'm wrong, but I believe sometimes we haven't been alone already, and it's been longer than we probably expect. But, well, who am I, right? But honestly, if you do your research, this world has started just from not from nothing. There was a creator behind everything. There is something, an entity that created everything around us, everything that we're seeing, breathing. You know, someone had put everything here for us to be living in the now. And I know that many people think that the past doesn't exist or the future doesn't, and we are living in the present, which is really true, because time is not linear. Time is not linear at all, even though it may seem like it, but that's all an illusion.
Facts.
Mm-hmm.
That is so true. You could have, um, and you may realize this already. There's certain times where the amount of present moment that you spend doing something could take longer than usual. Like literally, you could do something, 10 minutes. Usually takes you 10 minutes, but for some reason, that 10 minutes turned into an hour.
Yeah.
Like it's so weird. It's very interesting. Like time is time is an illusion.
Time is an illusion, and and I think with this Atlas 3 and in the media and making it seem like if it is aliens, is it well, I sometimes I feel like yeah, it could be aliens, but who is here now? I know we're not alone, and it'd be silly to think that we're the only ones, and we're not, especially now. I don't think we are. I mean, there's really gifted people out here, and the energy perspective, and if you're really big into reincarnation, sometimes, in my opinion, I believe people come here as humans, and really, soulfully, they may not be, and so take into consideration with that because some people carry knowledge and gifts that's kind of really unexplainable, and I'm not gonna lie, like there's things that comes into my mind where I just kind of know things without even reading, and then I read about it later. I'm like, this is what I already knew about, which I can't explain myself. I'm not saying I'm not human or anything, but we just don't know because scientifically, energy is still on the rise. This whole spiritual thing is still on the rise. No one has really studied it yet. So no one has really tapped into that frequency because, first of all, it's really hard to obtain that frequency. You have to do the inner self work. And second of all, you have to understand that right now, the world we're living in is sort of a simulation. And you are being somewhat controlled. And so once you break out of that illusion of breaking out of society and breaking out of the norm, you're going to understand yourself more. You're going to really listen to your thoughts and your soul and your energy, and that itself is what raises your frequency. And so I think many people are already intrigued with the new race because not many people can say things like this, and I'm very, very very excited how far we're coming along, and it's been a ride, and this is only the start. And who knows? I'm just gonna say it now. Maybe Atlas 3 are the Anunnakis. I'm not quite sure, but you can again. I shouldn't be shot down for saying something like that, or being afraid of saying something like that because why you only live this one. You only live this life in your body that you're living in now once. You could probably come back in another form. Who knows? I'm not saying it's true, but it is a hypothesis. Like I said, energy is very brand new to people, and we're still learning about it, and we will keep learning about it. And people think that it's a never-ending thing, and energy and frequency and spiritually, it's a never-ending thing because we're always going to evolve it, especially with AI. AI is going to enhance that level of frequency, and it will. And I'm kind of scared of it, but I'm kind of not because we just have to be careful with it.
I 100% agree with you on that. And the situation that we're running into right now, and if I had a magic wand and I could say just cut it out, be great. Then that solves a lot of hassle, a lot of problems. But unfortunately, not everyone on our planet understands that. I see a lot of the people who are like millennials, Gen Z, and stuff like that. As long as they're stay forward on that path of having an open mind and respecting nature. These are natural things. This is us stepping back into who we are. They recently did some studies and they found that like 60%, like this is in the past, well, just recently, but change is happening as we speak.
Oh yeah.
A massive shift. 60% of human beings have lost connection with nature,
Mm-hmm.
which is essentially connection with self.
Oh yeah, definitely.
That's connection with self, and that's where the mental health aspect comes in hand. That's where you see all these people do all these crazy stuff. That's where you see all these people get wrapped up into narratives, and they get indoctrinated and radicalized by just narratives. Like don't even think twice about why they think the way they think, and why they do the way they do. Why are they doing the things? Why if you go to some of these people that not just protesting but are so radicalized they're attacking and killing other people, and you sit down and you ask them like, why do you, what's the true reason behind it? And honestly, some if they're going to be honest with you, they won't really know. They may think they know, but they don't really know. They just do it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's right now it's a huge change happening, where more people are starting to understand. Oh, we gotta use this technology, use these new inventions to fuel humanity in the right direction. Like Elon Musk has been, kind of hinting to everyone, and he's not your enemy as much as people want to believe. That's where narratives fall into play.
That's so true.
He's not.
Mm-hmm.
If you know anything about him, he was, obviously bullied and stuff. His dad was very abusive, and he was very smart, kind of on the autistic spectrum. But knowing those things shows you his level of humanity. There was a time where he was riding in the car with his brother, and his dad was like abusing his mom, and this is legit. And he tried to he was hitting his dad, attacking his dad, because he's like, you need to stop. This is wrong. So that shows you, his level of humanity.
Mm-hmm.
And he actually has more than a lot of the top technocrats. Because some of them are are lacking empathy, are lacking the idea of reason with morals, and they're so focused on outcome. I got to be better? I got to have more power. You got to be careful. Don't get sucked into that. And these are the things we got to look out for in the coming future. You have companies on the other side of the world that are just going all in, not even evaluating what they're building, not even taking very close consideration of the Singularity Network, basically the brain of some of these AIs that they're developing. And when you develop something that doesn't get a chance to understand empathy, human emotion, that can cause some problems in the long run. Mm-hmm. Like, when it comes to robots, you could have an army of thousands of robots that are all connected to the Singularity Network, this one brain that does not understand human emotion. Mm-hmm. And when you have that, that's like Terminator 101. Yeah. It has access to cameras. It has access to drones. It has access to UAVs, unidentified aerial vehicles, or anomalous AAVs. You can say anomalous aerial vehicles, basically autonomous. Mm-hmm. It means they do things on their own.
Yeah.
So these are the things to take into consideration, and especially a lot of you young kids out there who are moving in that direction, who do want to go to Mars, who do want to see us, build up the moon, who do want to see humanity go into the Star Trek direction. It's important to take note on these type of behaviors of some of these big tech giants, because we share the same planet, and we got to make sure that if something is going on, if this person is heading a direction, is going full throttle, is developing at a rate so fast that pose an existential threat to humanity, not just us, but other maybe civilizations that are in our solar system that we don't know about yet.
Hmm.
So that's another thing to think about.
And that's another reason why, we have to learn about raising our vibrations and learning not to go against each other, because what if these other civilizations come in? What if this Atlas 3 is something that's not human? But, what is humans' reactions gonna do? They're gonna want to probably attack it. And no, it's not the right thing, because at the end of the day, like you said, we share this one world and the solar system, and we have to learn to come to an agreement, come together, and not go against each other, because you never know. Maybe there are other civilizations, and maybe as we speak right now, that we don't know of, want to come along and come together, and maybe we can create something new, something better, something more efficient, healthy, and I think that's the biggest play right now. I think that's the what's going to happen. Honestly, if one day these other civilizations do come, we have to raise our frequency and come together and unite. And I'm not saying energy and all this frequency stuff. Like I said earlier, it's not typically 100% new, because back in our old history, when you read about like the scriptures that that was been left in Egypt, and other scriptures that you may find that other people come across, it tells you a story that this has already happened, and basically history is slowly repeating itself, and that topic thousands of years later is coming back now. And so energy and frequency might seem like a new thing, but it's really not. It's been around for centuries, as long as we can't even remember, because we haven't even been here as long as it's been here. And so we're in it for a long ride, guys. We really are. And I think this, and I think New Race is helping to create a new reset for the world. And I think we do need a new reset. I was looking back at the old history, and I wanted to talk about the lost history of the Tartarian era, and I think that's so amusing itself, because in the Tartarian era, there was nice advanced architectures that some people today can't even recreate. But why was it destroyed?
Right.
There was these real pictures that show us. They have like the this whole Titanian platform in Chicago, New York, and I think it's called the New World or something like that. I think that's what it's called. Don't quote me on it. But it all went away. I heard it was built, I think, within 2 years, and then it just vanished. I'm not sure if it was a flood or they just knocked it down, but they completely erased it.
So, for those who don't know, Tartaria, or um, the Tartarian race. Basically it was like a huge region,
Mm-hmm.
an area, and I believe it was like Europe,
Mm-hmm.
basically, and kind of like Russia, Eurasia, that type of area. But yeah, the way they lived was, very, very synchronizing to high vibration,
Mm-hmm.
and they did everything they did everything in accordance with nature and the laws of the universe.
Yeah.
Which is interesting, because we tend to do the exact opposite.
Yeah,
We see
so
that.
true.
I mean, we have plastics in the ocean. I mean, we're sitting there just mowing. We think that, oh, this is fine. We can just mow down entire forests. And oh, why is it so hot? Because we're cutting down all the trees.
Yeah.
Oh, it's this. Oh, it's that. I'm like, no, you're cutting down all the trees. No, it's this. It's that. Dude, you're cutting down all the trees. It's like
Mm-hmm.
on these people that that you see. Some of them are more, aggressive towards the idea and towards the movement. Some are just, more level-headed. But they got a point.
Yeah.
Understand is like it's not yeah, politics are important, right?
Mm-hmm.
But we've shown that we actually have the power.
Mm-hmm.
So don't think that you can't make a change. And when you go out and you talk to people, you kind of pick up on some of this stuff every once in a while. Is this person saying, "Oh, the world's just doing whatever, I don't care." I was like, no, it's not. They don't. What you may not realize right now is that you can contribute through your own thoughts
Mm-hmm.
and your intentions, and eventually that will lead you to, maybe building a brand and then using what you get back from the brand, the money and stuff, to give back to certain causes, to go over to other countries to protect endangered species, to support groups that are fighting black market syndicates that are just devastating our animals,
Environment.
our environment, the illegal logging industry, and Amazon. See, these are things that aren't really talked about much, but that's why we're here to, give those concerns a voice, because they're important.
Yeah.
More and more people need to understand. They're so focused on death, on this political crisis that's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's crazy, and I'm all for it. But at the same time, we also got to take in consideration of, okay, what's going on? Look what's happening down in South America
Mm-hmm.
with the Amazon rainforest. It's crazy.
That's crazy.
Mo-
And it starts within. It does start within. And if we don't start within, then it'll never be resolved. These issues will never be resolved. So I mean, that's something that to think about. But what were you gonna say before I interrupted?
the more people that talk about this issue and that raise the concerns, that's how we create change. We build pressure, and eventually we have so much pressure that boom, it breaks. Just like what happened recently, and here in Michigan, there is going to be $50 million given to a foreign mining company, and where they were going to extract these rare earth minerals, the copper. The mine was sitting right in a precious river delta, right next to Lake Superior. For those who are not from United States or come from a different part of the world, we hold the Great Lakes. United States hold like a massive percentage of the world's fresh water, and they were going to put in a spot where it was going to jeopardize a huge well, eventually everything. One of our Great Lakes, and I did not know this, I guess is Lake Erie, is just destroyed. But this is how you contribute. If I see a lot of people feel empty. They're working, they don't know what they should do, and this and that, and they go. Well, see, what happens is you give back to the place that you live, right? You give back. What do you give back? By being a voice for the concerns that are going on. If we don't step up, you see what happens. You already know what happens. We get taken advantage of.
That's true.
So as long as we stay on top of things, and when things like that pop up, we come together, we bring it to the political figures in our states or in your country, and we tell them no, not going to happen. And until they change their mind, we just got to continue to do that.
Yeah.
And it's not a means of violence, but there are ways that we can do things to create change. And there's been multiple cases here in the United States, in our own country, that we have shown that is possible.
Yeah, no, yeah, definitely possible, And everything that you said, I'm 100% for it. He's right in everything he's speaking of, and again, I'm gonna say it starts within, and that's what a lot of these leaders and politicians and CEOs need to start thinking about, instead of thinking about like more of their company and the money aspect, and to start thinking about the environment and the people and how to give instead of how to take, and start within. And if you guys are very confused and where to start, what he said, start with nature first. you know Spending time with nature alone can help you rejuvenate your energy, clear your mind, and start maybe just practicing spiritualism, or meditation. Start meditating. That's even healthy. But other than that, if you guys are really lost and you guys wanna, you know the roadmap on how to better yourself as a human, within your soul, go ahead, go to www.newracecode.com. And I'm not just saying this, but there is a book called, Mindset Elevation, and another book called Divine Lineage, the Code of Divine Lineage Code. And that book alone will literally help you from point A to point Z, and how to elevate your mind consciously, spiritually, and environmentally too, and even physically. Because believe it or not, when you get at a certain frequency, you can adjust your own physical self. You start to look healthier, look better, look more physique. You start to manifest more of a healthier aspect outside, and it'll reflect within as well. Everything that you do within will reflect outside. So I think that's another thing that people need to take into consideration. But honestly, guys, Divine Lineage Code is a book that will change lives. It will change the world. I believe that many people need to, get into this book, because it'll help you change your broad aspect of how you're going to look into the world, how you come across with other people, relationship wise, and environmentally. So take the time to check the book out. And again, www.newracecode.com is where you want to go. And if you guys want to give back, we're gonna take all those funds to keep doing podcasts like this to help you elevate. We're not asking us. We're not asking for any money up front. That's just not who we are. But if you want to, leave a donation, go into the website, purchase shirts, books, even mugs that we have out there, jewelry, and that's gonna all help us, and it'll help us keep doing this. And I think this is a huge thing. But honestly, don't think about donating just because you're buying something off a brand, even though New Race is a brand. Our motive is to help you elevate. That's what we're doing it for. You're donating to help, to have us help you elevate. And so yeah, I mean, that's just what it is. And we're just going up from here, honestly. And honestly, guys, we're gonna take a few minutes of a break, so we're gonna get back in just a minute. All right, guys, we are back from the break, and so yeah, we were just talking about the new race, and how you guys can support the new race. It would mean so much to us, because what we want to do is just give back as much as we can, and that's the whole point of the new race, is to give back and to help inspire the universe, the world, elevate everyone consciously and spiritually, and for a better world and more in advance, because we as humans are not done growing. We're really not. This is not the
No.
end of us.
Oh no. 100 years, and I was talking about this with another gentleman who's like a wellness and health coach, and we kind of got down inside the rabbit hole. But it was very educating. We came to the conclusion that 100 years is like nothing. When you do your due diligence, and it's going to take some years. But obviously, if you devote time to yourself every day, you start to become aware of this, and it's a never-ending process. But we only get a glimpse at what we're capable of as human beings. In the past, we've lived for up 500 years, 600, 800 years. I think what's his name starts with an M. But no, the other guy. What's his starts with the M. He was referenced in Transformers as like Merlin, but this guy lived like 900 years, 900 something years. We'll have to come back to that in the next episode. But what I'm getting at is to keep things short, and we're about to close up here, is that we are the leaders of tomorrow. So like, don't give your hopes up. Don't say the world's doomed, because it's not. We could change it at an instant, as we already are, just like that. This podcast right now, and as long as you take some time to watch, to share, and to really try to like grasp and understand, what we're saying, then all is good. All is good. One thing is for sure is that we are also the heroes of tomorrow. You don't have to be in the military to be a hero, and actually, in fact, a lot of our problems are solved by those outside the box. Those people who actually just care and not motivated by money, they're just get really good at doing things to better the world. And that can be you too. That is you. That can be you. The technology, the younger kids, your people of your age, whether you're 20, whether you're 18, however old you are, and you're building a company in realms of AI, technology, bionics, all that stuff, you can create something that becomes a key piece to create balance and stability in the world.
Yep.
So don't forget that. Don't forget that. We're here as messengers to let you know, like, hey, nope, it's not over. Keep going.
Yep. Exactly, and if you have, because we all have those bad days, where we may feel sad or depressed or lonely or just unmotivated. And what I want to say is, take the time to learn energy and learn yourself within, because once you realize that you do have the power to shift, your dimension, your world, your reality, you can literally channel into a different frequency where you can get anything you want in life. There is enough for everyone, there is. And this is such a huge world, but not only the world, but we're in a huge universe. We live in a huge solar system. It's infinite. Life itself is infinite. Energy is infinite. And if you don't know, energy can never die. It can only be transformed. And so it lives on forever. And, I'm not going to lie, I used to be a person that used to be afraid of death. And as scary as it seems, energy always lives. So I'm no longer afraid. And so if you're feeling depressed, sad, you're not alone. We are all in this together, and let's help each other elevate and inspire and create, because creating is ancient. If you are a creator, you're doing an amazing job as is. Even if you don't get the views you want, or if you don't get the followers you want, you as a creator are already putting out that frequency and that energy out there to inspire someone out there, And if you don't think that no one's watching, just remember what I said earlier in this podcast. The universe is always watching. And if you're doing something good, it'll always find its way back to you and give back to you. So always do good in the world. That's what we're here for. That's what the new race is all about, guys.
100%.
Absolutely. Anything else you want to say?
Well, I think that's a good place to end.
Mm-hmm.
Um, with that being said, guys, we will see you next time. Stay tuned. Enjoy, share, subscribe.
And like, comment, and guys, once again, Derek and Alex, and we're gonna sign off. And thank you for watching the New Race Podcast.